but how this can work in a social context, because a lot of people worry that the social life will be impacted. Well, let's just say, so we want to increase our protein, we want to increase our veg. You're in a restaurant, again, we're taking no extra time, there's no extra effort or sacrifice. We're in a restaurant, we're having a look at the menu, focus on high protein foods and the vegetable options over like the carbohydrate options like chips or mashed potato or whatever it is that wherever you're going. And the good thing about this is you don't have to do it all the time. You can still enjoy, you can still go out and have chips every now and then, you can still go out and have beers every now and then, whatever it is. Again, I'm assuming you know that we need to make some reductions there. So by doing this more regularly, by adding the veg in and having a more protein-based meal as opposed to a more carby-based meal, you're just making these adjustments. And remember, these little things add up over time. Remember, I was referring to the continuum. It's about making little adjustments along the way and not trying to dive into being really strict from the get-go. So every now and then you can have your chips and stuff, but you're making improvements. You're changing your behaviours, you're changing your patterns. If you think about that continuum again, you're making adjustments, and those add up over time. So you don't need to be super restrictive and dive into that level of restriction. You just make gradual adjustments over time by changing your meals, and it works perfectly when you're going out and about every now and then, high protein, high veg, instead of the chips and the mash and whatever it is. Yeah, and the rest of it I already covered before because I was wrapping it up. Okay, so we're going steady here. I wanted to make this quick. I'm probably missing out a lot of stuff. I will do this again if you need help, and also if you need more help even. Also, the checklist is going to cover this in more detail. Once I rewatch this and realise how much I missed, I'm going to get everything in a nice checklist for you with a bit more information and context. So you basically have a sheet you can follow, and you just tick off when you've done these things that you need to do every day. Super, super easy. And like I say, if you need more help implementing that stuff, that's what the 8-week program does. It's just spread out over 8 weeks. And if you think back to that continuum, we do it on a more slower week by week basis instead of like just doing it all from the get-go, which I'm sharing it all from the get-go, which I am now. Okay, so this came up in some of the questions, is like the whole carb side of things. You know, a lot of people love carbs. How do I eat carbs? When's the best time to eat carbs? You know, giving up carbs and all that kind of stuff. It's a common thing, and it's a misconception, and it's an embedded sort of mentality, because if we think back to the continuum, we're so used to jumping from here to here to try and be dead strict and lose weight. We think that's what we need to do, and then bounce back because we can't sustain it, don't enjoy it, and then we have these thoughts as, oh, I need to be dead restrictive, I need to diet all the time to lose weight, when the reality is you don't. Once you understand these fundamentals of nutrition and what's going on, then you know how to implement it in your life. Okay, so carbohydrates, in its basic sense, we need some carbohydrates for energy. Now, if you're training in the gym here, in our gym, or if you're doing weight training or even running and things like that, you need some carbohydrates for your energy and for your muscles. It's how you eat around your training times is super, super important. And this is even more important for women going through menopause, because you're significantly reducing your muscle mass. So, and your hormones don't provide enough support to fuel. So essentially you lose your muscle tone all the time. Every year it's dipping as you age anyway, but when you're in menopause it dips dramatically. So you need to provide a lot of support to your body around your training times. Very important, because that's going to maximize offsetting some of that loss in muscle, so you feel more toned, your body shape changes, and also it helps you burn body fat, because the more metabolically active you are by having more muscle, the better. But, which I'll touch on the last point, it falls on deaf ears. You can train as much as you want with weights, but if you don't take care of this stuff, it doesn't matter. And I'll explain more on the last bit what that really means. But having carbohydrates is fine. The way I teach the girls in our 8-week program is to have them around your training times, because that's when you're utilising the carbohydrates. The problem becomes when we're just having carbohydrates willy-nilly, and the problem with carbohydrates is because it's an energy source. If your body doesn't use that energy, then it stores it inside your body as body fat. That's more easily done through your menopausal years as well. That whole process, it just adds up. So what you need to do is reduce the amount of carbohydrates that you're having generally throughout the day. In particular at night time, one of our strategies in the 8-week program is that the evening meal is, generally speaking, protein and veg, really filling, really good quality, nice, tasty, made the way you like it. It doesn't have to be plain and crap. And the focus on having the carbs around the training time. So that even you could even still have your carbs on a nighttime meal if you've trained hard. So the way I like to say it is, look, have your carbs before and after a hard training session, because your muscles I'll talk about this in the last point, but your muscles have broke down from training, you've used a lot of energy, you've told them, you need to replenish that. Your body is going to use the carbohydrates that you're bringing in after the training session and give it to the muscles to help them repair, to help them grow, and to replenish your energy stores, so it makes it easier for you to do a training session the following day or whenever it's next. If you're just taking in carbohydrates and not really doing much throughout the day, then and the body's not using that because it's an immediate energy source to your body. If it doesn't use it, it doesn't just disappear out of your body through your breath, it stays in there as body fat. So what I suggest is carbohydrate sources around your training times, good quality ones like sweet potatoes, normal potatoes, rice is fine, things like that, quinoa, those are all good things to have around your training times. And on top of that, at a similar point with the carbs, to maximise body fat and muscle tone, is to have a good high protein meal straight after your workout, or a protein shake straight after, a protein shake before, and eating a couple hours before you train, 2-3 hours before you train, not leaving big gaps between your training session, because again, the body is like slowly diminishing in muscle tone. You want to continuously provide as much support to the body as it can, especially on a training day, because the process of training breaks down your muscles again. So your muscles already being broken down on a rapid basis through menopause anyway. Exercise breaks it down further. The exercises are damaging to your muscles. You're literally breaking it down. That's why you're so sore and painful. So you need to repair that and make sure that you're fueling around your training times properly with carbohydrates and protein, so that you're giving it what it needs in order to be at its best and in order for you to get the best results possible. Also water as well, of course. Just make sure you've got plenty of water. Reduce the fizzy stuff, reduce the teas and coffees, and make sure you fuel with water properly throughout the day. Easy way to do it is check your urine test. Is it pale? Is it clear, or is it clearish? Great. If it's yellow or dark yellow, you need to take in more water. And going on to then, actually I'll touch on that next. Okay, right, so just to recap quickly before going to the last point and wrap up the workshop and just summarise everything. Number one, the continuum. The biggest reason why people fail and the biggest struggle and what you should avoid is stop going from here to try and be dead restrictive and diet, because it doesn't work, it's not sustainable, and also it's not good for your body going through menopause. You need to be fueling more with good quality food, and you don't even be thinking about dieting and cutting out foods and being overly restrictive. You need to concentrate on eating more and focusing on good quality health, getting the right foods in your body. A female body needs to have more food in the body, because again, if you go for long periods of time under eating, you may have experienced this before. You don't lose any weight despite hardly eating anything. Your body is made differently, and as you go through menopause, the hormone dips makes that even more important to give yourself the best chance to lose body fat and get the best results you can. And one of the easiest ways to do that is increase your protein intake, increase your veg intake, so you're not restricting, you're eating more of that stuff. Make sure this is the best stuff for your body. Make sure you're getting plenty of it. That can be done in a social setting. There's no need to restrict, no need to diet. Make sure you're getting the best portions you can get, making the best choices possible, even on your snacks as well. Make the snacks high protein, high veg, little mini salads, whatever you want. Just make sure it's high protein all the time. Getting protein with every meal is a really easy way to make sure you're getting enough. And I'm telling you, you'll notice a massive difference. You'll be eating, snacking less on crap, you'll feel more full, you'll feel less full, you'll feel great. Carbs, have them around your training time. So if you're training on 7 o'clock at night, you can have a nice chili with rice afterwards, fuel all that muscle that you've damaged, ready for the next day. And you can even have something similar in the build up to the workout 2, 3, 4 hours beforehand.